All right. So I just handed out this sheet of paper to you. This sheet of paper tells you a little bit about the logic course. If you take a look at the back of this cream-colored sheet of paper, you'll notice this calendar should look very familiar. This is the calendar that I showed you all yesterday off my website. Now, we talked about some of the important dates. One of the really important dates is July 1st. That's our first test. Then we also had July 15th. That's our second test. And July 22nd, that's our final exam. If you look at the calendar, you'll notice homework's on there as well as quizzes. What do you notice for tomorrow?
Quiz.
Quiz 1, right?
Quiz 1.
And we also have a homework assignment. You're supposed to read pages 1 through 3 and do problems 1 through 4. So I want to talk about that. So go ahead and take out that packet that says Chapter 1 Logic on it. This is your textbook. This is what you're going to be reading. And notice that reading comes first on the homework. So you need to make sure that you read pages 1 through 3 before you try and do problems 1 through 4. This is what you're going to be reading pages 1 through 3 on. Go ahead and take out the packet that says logic exercises. Notice that on the first page it has problem 1, then problem 2, then problem 3, which continues on the next page, and then problem 4 is down at the bottom. So tomorrow, when your PA tells you to turn in your homework, you're going to detach these 2 sheets of paper, make sure your name is on both of them, and turn them into your PA. Now, I will tell you what has happened in the past is that people say, Mr. Potter, I have no idea how to do problem 1 on the homework. To which I will say, have you read the textbook? And they always say, yes, I've read. And I go, did you read example 2, which tells you how to do problem number 1? And they go, no, we didn't read that. So, please read before you try and do the problems. Just a helpful reminder. When we start class, you're going to have a sheet of paper out. This is what you're going to be taking your notes on here, and there's several parts to our notes. The first thing you'll notice is this. Why is that important? That's what we're learning. When it comes time to study for a quiz or study for a test, do you want to be looking at your problem-solving notes when you're trying to study for a logic quiz? You probably don't need your problem-solving notes for your logic quiz. Will you need your engineering notes for your logic test? Probably not. That's my name, right? What's my name? Mr. Potter. What's your engineering teacher's name? Mr. Reeves. What's your problem-solving teacher's name?
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore. We haven't met him yet, but you will. What's your PA's name? Okay. Mr. O'Boyne. What is your site director's name? Mr. Lockett. So we need to know people's names so that when it's tutoring time, you know to find me and you don't go, sir, because my name is not, sir, Just letting you know, it's Potter. Day 1. Why is day 1 important?
Because
That's the first day of knowledge and learning that's going on here. Now, when I'm looking at my notes, it'd be helpful to have them in order. God bless you.
Thank you.
So you probably want to start with day 1 and then maybe go on to day 2 after that. And then day 3 would be the next page of notes. And then day 4. Does that make sense? So, I'm going to give you this information at the beginning of every class. I'm expecting you to copy it into your notes every class. Does that make sense? So are we ready to start today's lesson?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so everyone has a sheet of paper out for notes? Right? Maybe, sort of, eventually? Sometime in the next 50 minutes? Okay, well, we're going to do notes every day, so I don't want you to feel left out. First thing we're going to talk about today are definitions. Now, I mentioned yesterday that when I talk about definitions, I expect you to know them how. Word for word, exactly. Word for word. What's the word that I used? Started with a V? Verbatim, exactly, verbatim. Because if I go to a One Direction concert, I want to be able to sing along with Zayn. That's how I want to be. And if they just kind of sing the song or sort of sing the song, I'm not going to be able to sing along with them. We need to know them word for word. So every time that we have a term that's not familiar, I'm going to give you a definition. And when I talk about definitions, definitions have two parts, okay? A good definition has two parts. The two parts. And whenever there's a word in class that you're unfamiliar with, you should expect an is a part and a has a part. So when I talk about is a, I'm talking about a category, some big group that that word belongs to. So when I talk about is, I'm talking about a category that that word belongs to. But when I talk about has a, I'm talking about differences. In other words, what makes that word different from all of the other elements of that category? So I want to start by talking about a car. Are all of y'all familiar with what a car is?
Yeah.
If I asked you what category a car belonged to, what category do you think would best fit? A car is a vehicle. That's a good category, right? A car is a vehicle, so is a sled, so is a sailboat, so is a train, so is a bicycle, so is a minecart, so is there are lots of different vehicles. So what makes a car different from all of those vehicles? What does a car have? So if I said a car is a vehicle that has what? Has an engine. Well, bicycles don't have engines. Skateboards don't have engines. Minecarts usually don't have engines. So,
Some skateboards have engines.
my goodness.
Some bikes have engines.
Okay.
So skateboarders.
So what else? What else makes a car different from other vehicles?
AC.
AC. Sometimes it's the 450 AC, right? 4 windows at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's what my dad calls it. And you can't super cruise.
Can't super cruise. Okay. How about physical characteristics? How would you describe a car? A car has what?
It
has
Has doors.
At least 2 doors.
Wheel.
At least 2 doors. Has wheels. How many wheels?
4.
Usually 4 wheels. So the thing is, when I talk about a car, I need to define it as part of a category. It is a vehicle, but I also need to talk about it in the context of what does it have? It has these things. It has 4 wheels. It has an engine. It has doors. Those are the things that it has that makes it different from other vehicles. So let's talk about a cat. Okay, it is an animal. That would be the category it belongs to.
Has hair.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay. I don't know. Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
All right,
Now
so
we have a new animal.
important part here, though, is that I'm going to be giving you definitions. And the definitions that I give you are going to be verbatim, and you expect them to have 2 parts. This category part, this is a part, and this thing that makes it different from all of the other objects in that category. So, are we ready to start logic? All right. So, for logic, the first definition that I'm going to give you is a statement. And a statement is a sentence that is either true or false. A statement is a sentence that is either true or false? So what is my category? What is my ISA? A statement is a sentence. A statement is a sentence. That's the category that it belongs to. Y'all know what sentences are, right?
Yes.
They have subjects and they have verbs and they have other things that follow and they end with some type of punctuation. That is either true or false. That's what makes it different from other sentences like hand me that pen. That's not a statement, is it? What type of sentence is that?
It's a
command, right? I said, give me this pen, and you did. Thank you. Okay. Do you understand? What type of sentence is that?
question.
That's a question. That's an interrogative sentence. He is handsome.
That's an opinion.
That's an opinion, right? Ah, my leg! What type of sentence is that?
It's a
fact.
It's an exclamation! Right? That's why we usually use the exclamation point. Now, those are not true. Those are not false. I can't say, hand me that pencil. True. He is handsome. False. Because it kind of depends. Do you understand? Well, you can respond true or false, but it's probably raining. And if I see the sun is shining and the ground is dry and people are walking, then it probably is not raining. So just realize that there are going to be some statements that we know the truth value of right off the bat. Mr. Potter's shirt is blue.
False.
False. Now, yesterday that was true, but today it's false. There are some things that I'm going to know right off the bat. This room is freezing. Freezing is a very precise definition. What does it mean for water to freeze? To be solid, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Is the room that temperature? No. Now there are opinions. The room is cool. Perhaps.
just right.
Okay. It is dark outside?
Maybe. We haven't looked at that.
Maybe.
We haven't looked at that.
Okay. Even if I go outside, it's kind of cloudy. Some people will say, well, it's not bright. Some people will say, well, it's not dark. It's not nighttime. So there is some opinion in there. We are going to be dealing exclusively with statements, with sentences that we think are true or we think are false, that we all will agree on. Everyone kind of knows what yellow is, right?
Yeah.
Everyone had that box of crayons when they were like 2. Kind of agreed this is what yellow is for us. Scientists say it's 453 nanometers, and that's the precise definition of yellow. That's what color my yellow laser is. Sure. Yeah, of course I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you like yellow?
I like yellow. Used to be my favorite color when I was like 12. So, yeah.
I think it's now. What's your favorite color?
Now my favorite color is blue, although I'm rather fond of purple.
I like purple. I like purple.
I like purple.
So what we're going to be talking about in this class is we're going to be talking about statements. A statement is a
True or false?
sentence that is either, and y'all need to know it word for word.
Okay.
This is going to be question number 1 on tomorrow's quiz. Remember I told you how I don't like surprises? I'm going to tell you what's going to be on tomorrow's quiz.
Right now?
Well, as the class goes on, I'm going to tell you this is question number 1. This is question number 2.
Question number
Okay? So there should be no reason not to get 100 on tomorrow's quiz because I'm going to tell you all the answers.
Are we going to be using the notes?
No, you're going to have to use the world's greatest brain. Yours. Okay. All right, second definition. Second thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about how lazy mathematicians are. I am lazy. You want to know how lazy I am? Instead of writing the words EQUALS, I just draw two little lines and say, yeah, that's equals.
Yeah.
Mathematicians use symbols all the time instead of words because we're lazy. I don't want to have to write the room is dark, the room is dark, the room is dark, the room is dark. I'm going to use a letter D. A single lowercase letter D to represent the room is dark. That letter represents the statement. Mr. Potter's shirt is yellow. I'm going to use a single lowercase letter. I'm going to use Y. Y is going to represent Mr. Potter's shirt is yellow.
Mr. Potter's shirt is Y.
I'm just going to use Y for the whole statement.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to use R to represent the statement, it is raining outside. Okay, I'm going to use one letter to represent a statement.
It is R outside?
R, no, I'm just going to say R for the statement, it is raining outside. So if I just say R, then y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And if I say Y, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So what I need to do now is I want to talk about my second definition. I want to talk about negations. Negations, yes. Now, a negation is a statement that has the opposite truth value of a given statement. A negation is a statement that has the opposite truth value of a given statement. So what's the category that negation starts to? What's the ISA for this definition? It is a statement, exactly. What do we mean by a statement? A sentence that is
either true or false.
It's either true or false. Now I want to have the opposite truth value. So we have to have this notion of what do we mean by opposite. What's the opposite of false? True. What's the opposite of true?
False.
False. So we have a notion of what I mean when I say what's the opposite true. When I talk about the room is dark and everyone agreed that that was a false statement. The room is not dark.
True.
That is a true statement. Okay? Has to have the opposite truth value. By the way, you notice how I keep using these definitions over and over again?
Yeah.
How do you learn song lyrics?
You
You sing them over and over and over again. We're going to be saying these. Okay. You know what? I'm going to be an annoying teacher because I'm going to be saying these definitions over and over again. Over and over again. You're going to get bored, you're going to get tired, and they're going to get stuck in your head.
That's good.
Now, third definition. By the way, this is going to be question number 2 on the quiz, that a negation is a statement that has the opposite truth value of a given statement. That's question 2 on tomorrow's quiz. And question 3 is going to deal with a truth table. So, a truth table is a table that shows all possible truth outcomes. A truth table is a table that shows all possible truth outcomes. Now, when I say all possible truth outcomes, remember that a statement is a sentence that is either true or false. So if I'm showing all possible truth outcomes, if I have a single statement, it's either going to be true or it's going to be false. And then stuff will follow depending on the truth or falsehood of that particular statement. And I mentioned yesterday something about fractions, how we learned about fractions 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and we learned how to manipulate them. That was a mathematical construct, something that mathematicians invented to deal with rational numbers. We are going to be using truth tables. We are going to be manipulating truth tables to prove if a statement is true or false. Remember I said half the course is going to be determining if a statement is true or if a statement is false. We're going to be manipulating these, and y'all are going to become pros at this. We're going to be spending all summer doing this. And when I try and take if I am dealing with two statements, either they are both true, or the first statement is true and the second statement is false, or the first statement is false and the second statement is true, or they're both false. The thing is, I have 4 possible outcomes because 2 times 2 is 4. This is the thing that everyone messes up on. What's 4 times 2?
8.
8. Thank you for not saying 6.
6.
Well, no, someone in the last group said 6, and I was like, huh? But if I have 3 statements, P, Q, and R, and I want to list all of their possible truth outcomes, either they're all true, or only the first 2 are true and the second one is false, or the first one is true, the second one is false, and the third one is true, or only the first one is true and the rest are false, or the first one is false and the rest are true, or only the second one is true.
So there's no right or wrong answers?
What do you mean there is no right or wrong answers? A right answer...
Well, they're all at false?
Well, it has to show all possible truth outcomes, so I have to show all 8 possible outcomes. False, false, true, or false, false, false. Remember that 2 times 2 times 2 is 2 to the 3rd power, or 8. So I have to have 8 rows. And we're going to talk about what this pattern does. We're going to talk about how to come up with this pattern on our own so we don't have to memorize. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about, I went to Texas Tech University. Love being a Red Raider, guns up, but they have this symbol, what they call the double T. I do not want to see Texas Tech on your truth table. I want to see T's or F's. I do not want to see double T's. I don't want to see a T looking F. I don't want to see an F looking T, because if I see it, I will automatically assume that you mean the wrong answer. This is a math class, so you need to do your work in pencil, which means you have access to an eraser. And if you write a T and then decide, you know what, this should be an F, you need to erase it and make it an F. Now, this notion of a truth table, this is going to be question number 3 on tomorrow's quiz.
How many questions are there?
There are going to be 8 questions on tomorrow's quiz. I'm going to tell you what all 8 of them are. Now, we talked about is a statement that has the opposite truth value of a given statement. What's the opposite of true?
False.
False. What's the opposite of false?
True.
True. Now, you can choose to memorize this because this is going to be the answer to question 7 on tomorrow's quiz. But if you memorize the definitions, then you already know this, because the definition of statement got me this first column, and the definition of negation got me this second column. Now you're going to have to do a truth table for a negation. That's going to be one of the questions you have on tomorrow's quiz. And you're going to have to do a truth table for this, our final definition of the day. We're going to talk about a conjunction. Okay. Now a conjunction is a statement that is only true if two given statements are both true. A conjunction is a statement that is only true if two given statements are both true. By the way, this definition is going to be question 4 on tomorrow's test. There are going to be 4 definitions. That's going to be the first 4 questions on the test. Now, when I talk about conjunctions, there's a symbol for conjunctions because mathematicians are lazy. And the symbol for a conjunction is an upside down V. Now, do y'all remember what the letter R represented?
Yes.
Raining outside.
It is raining outside. Do y'all remember what the letter Y represented?
Yellow.
Mr. Potter's
Yellow shirt.
shirt
It's yellow.
is yellow. So if I want to do a conjunction, R conjunction Y, I'm going to be putting these two statements together with the word and. That's the key word for a conjunction, is the word and. So, it is raining outside. That is my conjunction. Now, what you're going to have to do on tomorrow's quiz is if I give you a conjunction, you should be able to write a sentence. In other words, you should be able to put together the two statements with what word in between? And that's going to be one of the questions on tomorrow's quiz. Also, if I ask you for the negation of a statement, you should be able to write that sentence. So what's the opposite of Mr. Potter's shirt is yellow?
Mr. Potter's shirt is not yellow.
Is not yellow. That's going to be the other question. And finally, question 8. We have a conjunction, so we need to do a truth table for it. So remember, a truth table is a table that shows all possible truth outcomes. So either they're both true, or the first one's true and the second one's false, or the first one's false and second is true, or they're all false. Now I want to know what's going to be the result for P conjunction Q. Remember that a conjunction is a statement that is only true if two given statements are both true. Are they both true on this first row?
Yeah.
So I get to put a true. How about on the second row? Are they both true?
No.
So if I can't put a true, I have to put a false, because a statement is a sentence that is either true or false. How about on the third row where I have false followed by true?
True. False.
That's going to be false because it's only true if two given statements are both true. How about the last row?
True.
False.
Remember, the only time I get to put a true is if both given statements, if two given statements are both true. Now, I've mentioned how important the definitions are. Number 1, because they're going to be on tomorrow's quiz. It's going to be half the quiz. But number 2 is that if I don't know, if I didn't memorize a truth table, by the way, that's question 8. If I didn't memorize that truth table, then I can use the definitions to figure out what should be in the truth table. Yes?
Mr. Potter, that was on our first test, right?
You're right. It was on the pretest, the logic pretest that y'all took yesterday. I know. Here's the thing. It's a pretest to see what you know before you come in. You're going to take that exact same test at the end of the year, and you're going to show me how much you've learned. And it's not part of the grade in this class.
Like graduation.
No, it's just to determine how much you've learned to see how effective of a teacher I am. It's kind of like the STAR test where it tells you how good the teacher is. Well, I hadn't seen y'all yet. Do y'all know what a conjunction is now?
Yes.
Do you know what a negation is now? Do y'all know what those two truth tables should look like?
Yes.
Do y'all know the 4 definitions?
Yes.
Or you will know it definitely before tomorrow's quiz?
Probably.
So here's the thing. You tell me what's on the quiz.
So the 4 definitions.
4 definitions. So we had, what are the 4 words that we learned today? Conjunction, statement,
And
truth table, and negation. Okay? Definition is not going to be on there. But statement, negation, truth table, and conjunction will be. I expect you to know 2 truth tables for tomorrow's test. What are the 2 truth tables that you need to know for the quiz tomorrow?
That one and the
Well, you said that one. Tell me what that one is. What does it represent?
conjunction.
It represents a conjunction.
And the one that represents the truth table.
Well, no, there was the other one represented something very specific.
it was the.
What's that squiggly line? Negation. And then I expect you to be able to write 2 sentences. If I want to write a negation, how do I write a negation?
You put not.
I put the word not in. How do I write a conjunction?
You write it with the upside down V.
Well, the symbol is the upside down V, but how do I write a sentence?
Oh.
I use the word and. Okay? Any questions? What is tonight's homework?
Do question 1 through 4 and 5.
First thing you do, read. Read pages what?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, and 3.
3, and we do the 4 questions.
You do the first 2 pages in your packet, problems 1 through 4. Are there any questions for me?
No.
Okay. If there are no questions for me, then I release you to your PA. Have a wonderful day. I will see you at 3 o'clock.